Donald Trump is promising to re-establish law, order and public safety in Washington. Speaking a short while ago, the US president said he would deploy hundreds of National Guard troops and place the city's police department directly under federal control, promising to liberate the US Capitol. And he painted an apocalyptic picture of the city, although official police statistics show a drop in violent crime.
Our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged-out maniacs and homeless people. And we're not going to let it happen anymore. We're not going to take it. Every American has a constitutional right to be able to access and petition their government in safety, and countless federal officials and employees likewise have the right to carry out their jobs in peace without being shot. As you know, I lost a very good person a while ago, was shot waiting for his wife. He was in the car. They robbed his car. They shot him. They killed him like it was nothing to it. She was walking to the car. It's a horror show. This issue directly impacts the functioning of the federal government and is a threat to America. Really, it's a threat to our country.
Let's get more from DW's Washington Bureau Chief, Ines Pohl. Welcome, Ines. My first question was going to be, why is this suddenly at the top of Donald Trump's to-do list? But did he give us a clue there at the end of that clip?
Well, you know, he kind of just was waiting for a moment to invoke this act, to do that, what he's doing now, to kind of take over Washington. DC has been threatening that since a long time, and now is the moment he can use another distraction from topics which really matter to the world. Having that said, this, of course, really matters to Washington, D.C., which is a fill-in that's important to understand. It's not a state, it's a district, therefore it's D.C., and Washington doesn't have a governor but a mayor, and there is a rule, indeed, that the president can, so to speak, take over the control over the Metropolitan Police Department.
OK, so we have a president taking over control of a police department that normally reports to a mayor. So how is all this going to work?
Right, so the president has to invoke, I look here to pronounce it correctly, the DC Home Rule Act to do so. He can only do that for 48 hours without the approval of those who are ruling the committees in Congress, and then he needs 30 days for the Congress to support this invoking. But as he has the majority of Congress, he can do that, and the representative who is kind of heading this committee already said that he is in support of Donald Trump. So he's allowed to do it. Is it the right move? That's, of course, a question. And I think it is significant to mention here that this has never, ever happened before.
OK, so we have the president talking about moving troops into the Capitol to round up criminals. But earlier today, he also talked about banishing homeless people from the city. So are we going to see troops federalized to do that as well?
Well, we shall see if troops are going to do that, but he, of course, can also ask the Metropolitan Police Department to do that. And Phil, I think, you know, that's one thing which came to my mind, which is also important to remember. On January 6th, it was the Washington police who helped the lawmakers in Congress, and it took hours before the president asked National Guard to help those lawmakers who were attacked by the mob who was storming the Capitol. So this is, of course, a fear here. Once the president is in charge of the police and has his own National Guards here in the capital of the United States, what does that mean if something happens, if lawmakers who are not kind of in line with Donald Trump get attacked? Who will come and support them? So there is a huge, really fear and many questions being discussed right now here in the capital of the United States.
And we heard the president paint that apocalyptic picture of Washington, D.C. as a city out of control. the mayor's hit back, saying that the crime rate in Washington actually dropped in the last year. So is bringing the National Guard in, is that a proportionate response?
Well, the Mayor Bowser, of course, says it's not. I am living in the district, and I have to say crime is still high, but indeed it is really in a 30-year or so low, but something needs to be done. It is dangerous to walk some streets at night in Washington, D.C., but of course compare Washington to capitals like, I don't know, he mentioned some capitals across the world like Lima and other places. This is totally kind of overdone, but he has a point here. Crime is high, but sending in troops, if this will really help, this is of course a big question.
Quick word then about what else Donald Trump talked about. He also talked about his upcoming meeting with President Putin. What did he have to say there?
Right, in the press briefing which I took part in, this was of course one major question, especially from the international journalists there. He said 2 times that he's going to meet President Putin in Russia. He of course meant Alaska, but that is kind of interesting to me. He promised that after the meeting with Putin he will call Vladimir Zelensky immediately and then other European leaders to discuss the outcome. He said that he would know within 2 minutes if he's going to say, let's keep fighting, or I got a deal here with Putin. And he also confirmed that he's going to have a virtual meeting with European leaders, apparently the German Chancellor Merz and Zelensky, today or tomorrow, before he's going to meet with Vladimir Putin in Alaska.
Thank you, Ines. DW's Washington Bureau Chief Ines Pohl.